Hi everybody and welcome to the Morning Mug. I apologize for the late posting yesterday. I put too much of Dear Aretha Franklin's music on and it got flagged by YouTube, so I had to crop it out. I made a comment at the end, the way I was lined up, and I'm like, am I like this every day? I have the fan blades coming right out of my head, so I feel like it's this headdress type of thing. Not quite Sally Field and the Flying Nun, but kind of. So I don't know if I should fix that or not. Today is Thursday, the 26th. This day in history, 1953, Jonas Salk announces the polio vaccine. Quite fitting, although we're not dealing with polio, just, waiting for testing and eventual availability of a vaccine for COVID-19. I knew I had to bring that up. Birthdays today, celebrity birthdays. Happy 35th birthday to Keira Knightley from the Pirates of the Caribbean series. Okay, we're going to play a game. Who's older? Martin Short, the comedian, or Steven Tyler, the lead singer of Aerosmith? Who's older, Martin Short or Steven Tyler? That would be who's older, you say? Steven Tyler by 2 years. Happy 72nd birthday to Steven Tyler, and Martin Short is 70. Happy birthday to Diana Ross from the Supremes, 76 years young today. Who's older? Country singer Kenny Chesney or actress Jennifer Grey from Dirty Dancing? And of course I didn't like her at all because she got to dance with Patrick Swayze. Who's older, Kenny Chesney or Jennifer Grey? That would be Jennifer. She is 60 today. Kenny Chesney turning 52 years old today. Some other notable birthdays, although these individuals are no longer with us. Actor Leonard Nimoy, live long and prosper, my friends. Born this day, 1931. Robert Frost, Tennessee Williams. So a lot of literary connections today, and that's one of the things that I'll be talking about in a little bit. Girl Scout cookie trivia from yesterday. The first home-baked cookies, not made by a bakery, but Girl Scouts at home, that was 1917. First official sales of Girl Scout cookies from a bakery in 1933, Philadelphia. 44 cookies in a box. How much did it cost? 23 cents. I would buy them by the pallet at 23 cents a box. Most popular flavors. Thin Mint is number 1. Samoa, also known as Caramel Delights, number 2. And this kid's favorite, the Tag-Along, aka Peanut Butter Patty, and at number 3. And the cookie, with most cookies in the box, goes to the number 1 most popular Girl Scout cookie, and that would be the Thin Mint. They freeze quite well. I highly recommend it. So for those who are looking for something interesting to do tonight at 8 o'clock Eastern Time, Dave Matthews will be doing a live charity concert. You can get it on Verizon's YouTube channel or on Yahoo. So Verizon's YouTube channel or Yahoo. You don't have to have any membership or subscription. You don't have to be a Verizon customer. That's just where you can find it. And again, that's 8 o'clock tonight Eastern Time, 5 p.m. Pacific. Wanted to briefly share some things that I am reading / listening to. So my current read is this one. It's called Mr. Churchill's Secretary by Susan McNeil. I got this at the Mechanicsburg Mystery Bookshop. It came recommended to me because I said I'm an Agatha Christie fan and I like, I don't want anything too heavy and cerebral, but I want a story that pulls me in. And this is what I'm reading about. So there's a young woman named Maggie, very well educated. She's really into math and puzzles and problem solving, and she gets pulled in to be Mr. Churchill's secretary during World War II. So pretty excited about that. It reminded me, and you can see I'm not very far into it, but it's reminding me her character a little bit like Joan in Imitation Game. If you've seen that one with Benedict Cumberbatch and Keira Knightley, whose 35th birthday is today. I love when I do that. I did not mean to do that. So Keira Knightley's character in Imitation Game, wonderful film about the Enigma machine during World War II, kind of a similar character. So when I'm finished, if anybody would like me to disinfect my book and ship it to you, I'd be more than happy to do that. So let me know. The other thing that I've started listening to, I'm the kind of person I have like 2 or 3 books going at a time, usually like a fiction and a nonfiction, and I always have something that I'm listening to. So even though I have the audiobook from Mr. Churchill's Secretary, I'm liking reading it more than listening to it. But what I'm listening to now on my morning walks is this one. When Women Ruled the World. That is by Kara Cooney, and the audiobook is read by the author. I love when they do that. I really do. It's about 6 different queens of Egypt, and my world history kids know Queen Hatshepsut's one of my homegirls, so she's in chapter 3. I'm on chapter 2 right now. But just interesting perspectives on kind of, in many ways, the progressive nature of the ancient Egyptians when it comes to women in positions of leadership and power. So I'll give a review when I make it done. Made some good progress on my coloring yesterday. There are certain parts that I'm doing the same. So like this type of flower is this color palette type of thing. And I think I go through the whole thing and do all the flowers that are that color. I move on to something else and realized missed one. So I have to go back, try to remember what colors I used. But it's the perfect thing as I'm watching TV. That's kind of my project there. All right, so we are going to do another 2-minute mystery. This one is called Stolen Glance. And the question at the end is, what shoe print characteristic, aside from tread print and shoe size, allowed the officer to identify Ned Lester as a repeat offender? Okay, so here's the story. Answer will come tomorrow in the morning mug. Lynn was working in her father's dry cleaner shop when he took a break for lunch. Mr. Nguyen had owned and operated his shop on the edge of town for 20 years since he immigrated from his native Vietnam. Lynn didn't work in the shop very often, but her father... Did I say him at first? Lynn is a female. Let me just start over. Lynn was working in her father's dry cleaning shop while she took a... This is elementary, folks. I don't know how you do read alouds all the time. I keep messing up. Tarnation. 3rd time's the charm. Here we go. Stolen Glance is what this one was called. Lynn was working in her father's dry cleaner shop while he took a break for lunch. Mr. Nguyen had owned and operated his shop on the edge of town for 20 years since he immigrated from his native Vietnam. Lynn didn't work in the shop very often, but her father would trust no one else to handle the family fortunes. She tried to give him a rest from the back-breaking labor when she could leave her job at the library. Today was one of those days. She stood behind the rack of freshly pressed shirts when she heard the bell indicating a customer had come into the front of the shop. At the same time, she heard her father enter from the door to his upstairs apartment. "How can I help you, sir?" he asked. Lynn had heard him ask the same question hundreds of times, but just now he seemed a bit frightened. Lynn walked around the shirts, carrying a batch of laundry tickets to be filed. When she glanced up, she saw a big Caucasian man dressed in a long coat, holding a revolver pointed directly at her father, who was handing him the cash from the register. Lynn gasped and stood frozen in shock. The thief heard her. He grabbed the cash, turned, and sprinted out the front door. A few seconds later, Mr. Nguyen crumpled to the floor. Lynn hurried to her father. "Father, father," she pled, but he did not seem to hear her. When another customer entered the store, she shouted to them, "Call 911. My father's having a heart attack." Police and EMS responded quickly to the scene. While both Lynn and Mr. Nguyen described the armed robber, their descriptions were inconsistent, and the police were unable to locate a suspect. The only evidence left behind the scene was a set of muddy shoe prints bearing the tread patterns of what appeared to be an athletic shoe. A few months later, a tall Caucasian man named Ned Lester committed an unarmed robbery at a convenience store in the same neighborhood. When the cashier refused to open the register, Lester ran out and was nabbed by police just a few blocks away. Shoe prints were found at the location as well, but the tread pattern was indicative of a dress shoe. A photo array lineup was presented to Mr. Nguyen and his daughter, who could not positively identify Ned Lester as the man who robbed them. Lester himself swore he had never set foot in the dry cleaner's shop. The officer in charge of the investigation was not convinced. He took another look at the shoe print evidence photographs and concluded based on the ruler placed next to the shoe in both images that both kinds of footwear happened to be the same size. Then he realized that there was another undeniable and unique similarity between the shoe prints from the first and second robbery. What shoe print characteristic, aside from the tread print and shoe size, allowed the officer to identify Ned Lester as the repeat offender? Solution on that tomorrow. Oh, phooey, I forgot the weather again. Hold on. At some point, I'm probably going to stop the weather in case people aren't watching at the time, but, I got to be consistent for now. Weather in south central Pennsylvania today for your Thursday. Looking at a high of 63. Looks pretty clear. No precipitation until after sun goes down tonight, and it's a pretty low chance. So your best time, it's looking like between 1 o'clock and 4 o'clock today. It's going to be the warmest, and it's going to be nice and sunny. So thanks for hanging out with the morning mug. My mug of the day: life is good. And the classic: do what you like what you do. And I'm going to change the like to love. Do what you love what you do. Scheduled for some Google Meets today with one of my American history classes and my law class. I'm excited to see their faces. I hope that they come, and I'm excited to see you tomorrow. So as always, feel free, leave me a message, things you want me to talk about, and have a fabulous day. See ya.